I was born and raised in a little fishing village up in Canada, Newfoundland, Canada. And, all I ever wanted to do was work in the water. My goal in life is to die in my boat out here someday. And this is a way, now that the fish stocks have crashed, to keep working on the water, keep having that sort of soul-filling job that means so much to me. These jobs that, the fishermen are the people write and sing songs about them. My whole life has been about the water. And as the fish stocks have crashed around the globe, back home in Newfoundland where I'm from, and just seeing so many people thrown out of work and a whole sort of community and culture just destroyed overnight because of ecological collapse, this has been a way for me to transition myself, my family, my community into a new way to make a living on the ocean and make sure that we all get to someday die in our boats out here. What we grow on our regenerative ocean farms are just shellfish and seaweeds. These are things that just require nutrients and sunlight to grow. There's no fish feed, there's no fertilizer, there's no antibiotics, requires no fresh water, which makes it the most sustainable kind of food production on the planet. And so this is our sugar kelp. It's native to the area. And we love it because, one, it just grows at such high volume. So we're able to produce an incredible amount of seaweed in very small areas. And so GreenWave, we're a nonprofit, and we're helping train the next generation of ocean farmers. And, this is really about how do we transition coastal communities in the era of climate change, while fish are disappearing, while waters are warming, and our food system is getting more and more fragile. How do we transition those coastal communities to create new jobs and make sure that regular people really get the opportunity to benefit from the new blue economy, the new climate economy? We grow, this is a native sugar kelp, and the reason we love it is that it has so many different uses. We're able to have a whole leaf strategy where, say, these stipes can be used for kelp pickles. We do kelp chutneys, sort of specialty products, and then we move into the plant-based food diet where people are making mushroom kelp burgers and really capturing that wave of food innovation. And then the last half of the plant, we're working with AgriSea to make biostimulant, to really take all these nutrients that are in the ocean and get them back to the soils, get them back to organic and regenerative farmers on land. And this allows us to have a use for each piece of the kelp, to weave it into all sorts of industries, and for farmers that are out here in the ocean really make a living. AgriSea's been in this space for so long, doing so much innovation around how to get the nutrients that are here in the ocean and return them back to the soil. And for us here in the US, this is a gigantic opportunity to take all this kelp that's growing and finding a whole new market and all succeed together.
All
right, AgriSea, get to work.
Yeah.
What are we feeding you guys?
There's not enough room. You're just so good. You're just so good.
I feel like I'm getting
So we met Bren a couple of years ago, wasn't it? At one of the conferences in New Zealand, looking at Oceania 2035. What does the future of our food production look like? And from there, Bren came out and saw us in Paidor in New Zealand, and we spoke around the 28 years or almost 3 decades of creating biostimulants to help farmers transition to a more resilient and effective way of farming. So it was there, I guess, where, for us, our biggest barrier has been access to seaweed. And you can see it's not really an issue up here.
I feel like Scrooge McDuck at the moment.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good combination, really. We've kind of had a real innovative sort of approach because we've had to create maximum value of every little bit of seaweed we can get in New Zealand.
What we found when we first came up and that they were all, we had absolute shared visions and values, and we knew right there these were going to be our partners going to the future, and together we can go faster. Everyone's good on their own, and but once you partner up with the right people, that just accelerates, and it's given us the ability to fast track the good that we're doing, not only in New Zealand, but over here in the States as well.
Growing up in a family business, you always have your children in front of you, and you're always thinking, what we call titiro whānui, or really long and really wide. And for us, it's around improving the future, I guess, for our children and our grandchildren, because we've got a responsibility. And it's that sense of responsibility to ensure that we leave, or try and leave, the world better than we found it.
Now, everybody wins with the seaweed and with what we're trying to create. And that's been our business model back at AgriSea since the start. You know, no one loses in this process. We all win. We all move forward together.
So we have projects in New Zealand called Sea, Soil and Society, where we're linking the health of our soil, our coastal communities, and the food that we produce. But not only are we able to produce beautiful food, the farmers that do it are happier and healthier for it as well, because they're able to use less fertiliser, less agrochemicals, they feel good about what they're doing, and it's economically viable. I think it's not only about selling a product that helps farmers, but it's the education piece that goes along with it as well. So how can we link farmers up to learn from each other, how they can transition away from synthetic fertilisers, or the overuse of synthetic fertilisers.
Right.
You know, nutrients aren't bad, but nutrients in the wrong place, in the wrong concentrations, cause havoc. Yeah, so some of the farmers in New Zealand, not only have we done the return on investment from a farm scale system around reduction of nitrogen, phosphates, increase in fertility on their animals, etc., but then also what's the value of the return on investment to the community. So one farm in this catchment that is a lakes area, so a lot of nitrogen going into the system, that single farm is saving that community $2.6 million every year in nitrogen cleanup.
Through the change of practices,
Yeah.
What was so meaningful and exciting for me when I met you all was that we just shared these two key pieces. One was, let's break down the seawall, let's create nutrient loops where ocean farmers and land farmers are working together and sharing the nutrients to build our agricultural sector. And the other thing is, you all care about farmers. Right? GreenWave, our nonprofit side, what we do is we're trying to make sure that this isn't just about the environment, isn't just about climate, but actually about people making a living. So how do you make a living on a living planet? And I think we just are like soulmates on that.
And I think for us, that's that our land farmers have so often been vilified. And actually they have an incredible opportunity to not only feed us, but also help our soils, help our air, filter water, biodiversity, and help clean up our oceans. So, it is, they are some of our climate heroes. And actually we need to recognise the work that they can do to help us.
And think of this, so there's this whole, there are millions of farmers out there that could be part of the climate solution, right? And instead of saying no to them, like you're saying, here's a thing that they could say yes to and build their futures on. What you're doing, what we're doing together, is not about deforestation, right? So a lot of what I've learned, a lot of the biostimulant program and soil amendments are all based on wild harvest out there, and this is a chance to make sure we don't deforest our oceans, our sequoias of the sea, but rather grow it and leave those forests alone.
Yeah, so that's right. And at the end of the day, like you say, it's farmers helping farmers. Hey? Just what a beautiful solution.
Sort of line maintenance. It's pretty much set to get through the winter. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And we get her in an after school program on Mondays. So it's 5 o'clock. Yeah, 5:30.
There's nothing else.